Hello, everyone. Good morning. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me this morning. I hope everyone's having a splendid Monday. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. We love Mondays. We love every day. Every day is a blessing, guys, because we are Manchester United fans, of course. What else could it be, guys? Before I start, please could you subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video. If you guys can do that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you, guys. Again, thank you. Guys, let me just say, guys, please don't forget to put in your notifications as well. That'd be very, very important. And the likes, of course, algorithms. YouTube loves the algorithm. So let's get into the rhythm and this algorithm on this Monday morning because we have to start the week. Right, let's get straight into it. In regards to Carlos Baleba, you may have heard from other outlets yesterday that Carlos Baleba has handed in a transfer request, sound like Jonathan Ross, a transfer request. Carlos Baleba wants to leave Brighton and Hove Albion. Of course, I spoke about it a couple of days ago in regards to Baleba wants to leave Brighton. He wants Brighton to give him authority to leave. He wants them to accept a deal to lower the transfer fee to get it down to about 70 million, which would be lovely for Man United because that's what Man United wants. At the moment, Brighton have slapped a 100 million euro deal on Baleba's head, and Manchester United, of course, are not going to pay 100 million euros, but that is just the starting fee, of course. Now, Manchester United look to do a deal from between about 75, 85 million euros, probably 75 million plus the 10 million in incentives, there or thereabouts. That is what Manchester United are trying to do. So Manchester United are in a mad rush to get this deal over the line as quickly as possible so we can have him ready for the next game. Not the Arsenal game, of course, but the next game, of course, against Fulham. We might do. And then if not, it's going to be the Burnley game. However, I would stress that it is likely that it might be the fourth game of the season, which I think, our first Old Trafford game after the Arsenal game. I would say that Baleba will be playing for Man United. And that is my prediction, guys. The first Old Trafford game, the second Old Trafford game of our season, it will be a Baleba, guys. Absolutely. I hope so anyway. Let's wait and see what happens. A lot can happen quite possibly over this next couple of days. It is Monday. This is when the business starts, of course. The work starts, of course, in regards to transfers. Weekends is a little bit slow. We get a few rumors here and there. But you know what? It's the midweek that really determines the transfer window, of course, guys. But here we are. Hopefully, Baleba will be a Manchester United player. And as I've said, I said it on my short video yesterday. I say it again. Once the player wants to lead the football club, lo and behold, he generally gets his wish. That is how it works, unfortunately. I know it's unfair. I know it's not good on the clubs, but this is how football works. Sadly, this is just the way it is at the end of the day. But look, good for Manchester United. When it works for us, when it's in our favour, fantastic. We don't mind. Baleba will be an absolute game changer for Manchester United. And that is actually what it is. As the thumbnail says, it's the turning point. The turning point is Baleba. The turning point this season is Baleba. He's the difference. He is the difference between us being mediocre, 10th, 8th, 6th, to going into that top 4 challenging lineup, guys. So I cannot stress how important this deal is. But having the good thing about this last 24 hours is that now we've got word from Baleba. We've got a transfer request from Baleba. Balebas, absolutely. We got a transfer request from Baleba, and that is when it puts everything in our favour. Once that happens, it's in our favour. If Baleba says nothing, and then they're going to say, well, Baleba's not too bothered about Man United's bid. You know, he's willing to stay at Brighton and blah, blah, blah. But once the player gives in the transfer request, you know what's going on, don't you, guys? You know that generally the player gets his wish. I've said it all the time, guys. The player generally gets his wish, guys. Absolutely. Let me just say happy good morning to Marky Mark, you absolute legend. Thank you again for your generosity and kindness on the channel, my friend. Really appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. I hope you're having a fabulous Monday morning, of course, wherever you're in the world. Thank you so much for joining me today, my friend Marky Mark. Big up, and big up everyone else in the chat, guys. Thank you, everyone who's joined me. But guys, and look, you know what? It is exciting times for Manchester United. It really is. I mean, getting Baleba through the door would be an absolute game changer. I've said it. I mean, Man United are obviously weak in that midfield. You saw it the other day against Fiorentina. You saw it. Man United looked weak. There were periods of the game where Fiorentina dominated us, which is, you know, a bit crazy when you think about Fiorentina. You know, they're not even, you know, top half of the Serie A, of course. So you got to look at things like Man United need to improve that area, and that area is the engine of the team. Man United do need other areas improved in the squad as well. Of course they do. We're not going to get everything done this window, but at least to get the spine fixed, the spine of Sesko, Mbeumo, Cunha, Baleba, and a proper goalkeeper would fix that spine immensely, guys, absolutely. Let me just get into some of your comments, guys. Big up VJ Palmer, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up Habibi, how you doing, my friend? Let him go if need be, get the real bit scoring again. Big up VJ, my friend. Good morning, Sal. Hope we start Sesko in the first game. I hope so as well, really do, even if he plays 60 minutes. Sal, do you take it, do you, Sal, do you take it time to sign Baleba? Yes. It's not going to be straightforward. Look, you know, the refreshing thing about the Benjamin Sesko deal, it was done so quickly, and I was impressed. But that is done with RB Leipzig. The RB Leipzig are different to a Premier League team. Premier League teams, they're all rich, guys. Let me tell you about Premier League teams, right? Premier League teams have money. Brighton have money. We know Brighton have money. Look how many players Brighton have sold over the years. They all have money. Back in the day, in the 90s and stuff like that, not every team had money. You know, nowadays, every team don't need to sell. They don't need it. We don't need your money. Absolutely. It's not about the price tag. Exactly. As Jesse J once said. So they don't need the money. And this is the thing. So when Man United go in for a player like Baleba, I say, okay, mate, you want him? But yeah, well, 100 million. And that's it. And you know what? We're going to take our time. We're not going to give in to you. We're not going to give in to you. You're going to have to entice us, take us out for dinner, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? This is the problem with the Premier League, because everyone's rich. All these teams have an ego now. All these teams are like unwilling to do business, especially with Manchester United. There seems to be smoke up Liverpool's backside and Chelsea's backside whenever they bid for their players for cheap. You know, but when it's Manchester United, it's like the price goes astronomically high. You know, and that's disillusioning and upsetting. Of course it is. But we are hated, adored, never ignored. But it is going to be difficult with Brighton, and they're going to make it difficult for us. Now, look, you know, they don't need to go to Man United and say, yes, you can have him, like, quickly. They don't need to be. They're not in that position to do that. They don't need to bow down to Manchester United. And this is the thing. So they could easily drag this out if they want to, right until the last day of the transfer window. And this is why I say it could be until the last day of the window that Man United get a Baleba through the door, you know? But, however, I am hearing inklings here and there that Manchester United could strike a deal by the end of this week. Hopefully, Man United gets something done. It's not guaranteed, but Man United are in advanced talks, and Man United have been in talks with Baleba's representatives for quite a while now before these rumours started circulating. So we've been after this for a few weeks. Christopher Vavel, all these folk, Jason Wilcox, Barada have been working on deals for weeks and months. As Barada said after the friendly game against Hong Kong, he said, we've been working on various deals for months. Now, what is that? You know, what is that? It could be Baleba. We might have been working on Baleba for months. You know, you never know. Because the way these rumours have been circulating, it's almost like Baleba expected it. It's almost like Baleba knew about it. He knew Man United were in for him. He knows what he wants. Brighton, this is your cue. I want to go to Manchester United. And that is what it is. Here's my transfer request. And you know, as I said, I repeat, once a player hands in a transfer request, it's very rare that a team will keep them, because you know what? It doesn't make business sense. It's impractical to keep an unhappy player at the football club on and off the pitch. It's impractical, and it reduces the valuation of the player. The share prices go down, etc. So this is very, very interesting. And obviously, Baleba come to Man United. It seemed like a dream a week ago, didn't it? But it does seem like it's happening. You know, as someone said on the chat yesterday, I was 80% sure he wouldn't come to Man United a few weeks ago. I'm now 80% sure that he will come to Manchester United. I'm not quite that much at the moment. Look, it has moved up to about 60-40 for me that he's going to come to Man United before the deadline day. I do think eventually that Carlos Baleba will play for Manchester United. I just hope, fingers crossed, it's in this window and we manage to sign him in this window, guys. That is very important, of course. Absolutely. But Manchester United are a different animal in the transfer window these days. Man United are targeting the player before they go for the club. This is a new strategy that they're using that has been quite successful so far. So they're getting an agreement enticing the player first, And then after they've enticed the player, spoken to the player, got the player on side, then they go to the football club, leaving the football club in a precarious position where they have to think, oh my goodness, he wants to go to Manchester United. We might have to sell this player. Otherwise, we're going to lose out long term. And that is what it is at the end of the day, isn't it? It's all about the business, guys, isn't it? It's all about the business. And sadly as it is, I know that, I don't think like in a greedy kind of point of view, footballers do have the power. And that's just the way it is. It's the way the cookie crumbles, of course, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. News is still circulating around Manchester United in regards to Baleba. All positive noises coming out. But we're not going to get too giddy. Let's keep our feet firmly on the ground. And let's hope that, this still goes through and we can move on. And who are we going to move on to, of course, guys, is the goalkeeper situation. Now, this is where the crucial decision comes. This is where the crucial decision comes for Manchester United. Manchester United have to make a decision in regards to the goalkeeper position. Andre Onana wants clarification on his future. He wants to know what is going to happen in regards to the goalkeeper position. It has been kind of rumored and obviously circulating quite rapidly about the goalkeeper situation, how we could replace Onana, how it could be Donnarumma, how it could be Senny Lamens. Now, one of those goalkeepers could quite possibly be at Manchester United next year. Of course, Bayinde is looking for a place out, a transfer away from Manchester United because he wants first team football because of the World Cup. Onana is thinking the same. Onana's thinking if Man United bring in a Donnarumma, my World Cup place is going to be in jeopardy. And that is what he's thinking at the moment. The World Cup happens at the end of the season. So Manchester United obviously have told Onana that, basically they're gonna play it by ear, and they're supporting him. Earlier in this window, they said they want Onana, they like Onana, and they're supporting him, etc. But over these last coming weeks, there has been rumours about the goal position, and Onana seeks clarification on his future. Now, obviously, we're going to have to wait and see what happens in regards to that. Onana wants first team football. But as I've said many, many times, guys, none of those players who played last season and indeed the last couple of years should be guaranteed a spot in this football team. Under what reason should these players be guaranteed a spot in this football team? They have no leg to stand on. It was embarrassing last season. We came 15th. So they don't have the cards here. We do. Because at the end of the day, you flattered to deceive last season. You became Manchester United's worst goalkeeper in our history last season. Statistically, pound for pound, Onana is Manchester United's worst goalkeeper in our history. Right? When you look at the games, the goals conceded, mistakes leading to goals, things like that, Onana is Manchester United's worst goalkeeper in history, guys. And you can look that up. He generally is. And at the end of the day, I like Onana as a person. I think he's a good personality, but personalities don't win you titles. That is just a small part of it. You can be a person. I'd rather you be an absolute prat and win titles than be a likable guy who's funny, you can have a good crack with and stuff like that. Onana is statistically Manchester United's worst goalkeeper in our history of the Premier League history. In the Premier League history, I should stress. Premier League history is the worst goalkeeper that we've ever had, of course, guys. Let me just do this. Natty. Sal, if you sign Baleba, which is your best partner for Baleba? My best partner is going to be Kobe Mainoo. I've said it all day long. If we sign Baleba, it's Kobe Mainoo or Ugarte. That's my best partnership in the midfield. I think that is the most balanced way to go forward with things. Look, Bruno is a world-class number 10, but Bruno is not a world-class number 8. I don't think he's a world-class number 8. I think he's a decent number 8. Look, at the end of the day, it's, for example, let me give you an example. Roy Keane was a fantastic, world-class number 6. Right, a guy who can bring that ball, tackle it from midfield, bring the ball forward, play him in defense. He's an absolute rookie. And that's what it is, isn't it, at the end of the day? And this is how we have to look at things. We have to play players in their correct positions. I know it's not going to happen. I know Bruno's going to start the season. I know he's going to start as number 8. But we need to face reality. Let's face the music, guys. Because if you face the music, you can dance at the end of the day. Without facing the music, there's nothing to dance to. And that's what I would say about the Bruno situation. Bruno is not a number 8. I would argue that with everyone. He's a world-class number 10, one of the best number 10s in the world. But when you bring him into that midfield, he is indisciplined. He doesn't know the role properly. He's not quick Like in the number, let me tell you something about the midfield position. You have to be like blinkers all around. Paul Scholes famously knew 3 passes ahead. He already knew 3 passes ahead. When he got that ball, he already knew what was around him, everything, and he knew what he was going to do. 3 passes ahead. That is what a midfielder is. Blinkers, all the way around, 360. And that, I don't think Bruno has that. Bruno, for a start, let me give you an example. Bruno has the physique, the posture of a number 10. That's what he has. He doesn't have the physique, the posture of a number 8. And we have to look at things like that because people underestimate this kind of thing. I know he's a fan's favourite. I know he's a Ruben Amorim favourite, but we have to be realistic. For me, it's going to be a Baleba and Menu or Ugarte. I don't think Casemiro should really be starting for Man United anymore. I think he is. He's kind of done now out here, guys. Natty again. Sal, how many points do you think you would get for the first 5 games? I have to wait and see, guys. I have to wait and see what happens with Baleba. Dan, good morning. We need to beat Arsenal to repeat. Yeah, absolutely. This is the one thing, the most important thing. Absolutely, Dan, my friend. Good to see you this morning. What I would say is that out of everything, all the chaos of the transfer window, once everything is out the way, we have Arsenal this Sunday, guys. We have Arsenal. One of the biggest games in the Premier League is probably the biggest game in the Premier League era in regards to rivalry success, in regards to on the pitch, guys. I'm not talking about Liverpool, who are our biggest rival. I'm talking about the Premier League era, which teams have gone lock horns head-to-head the most times. It's Arsenal, Man United. And Arsenal, Man United brought the Premier League together. They're the ones who put the Premier League on the map, in my opinion, right? Especially Man United, though, of course. But what I would say is that what matters is the result against Arsenal. That is the most important thing going forward. Forget everything else. Eggs in that basket, because Arsenal, we beat Arsenal. It's going to build momentum, as Dan said. It's going to build momentum. We're going to get the confidence to go into the Fulham game, to go into the Burnley game, and have 3 out of 3. What better start to the season? 3 out of 3, moving on to the City, Chelsea games, and Liverpool games, of course. It's going to be a very difficult start to the season for Man United. This is why Man United need the best players. This is why Man United need to fix that midfield, need to get a new goalkeeper, because we want to have the best opportunity possible going forward. It's so important. We don't want to have another terrible start to the season and then we're backtracking again. We're coming from behind again, and we're coming from the depths of the sea again, trying to get ourselves back up, of course. Randall, morning, Sal. I watched Wharton. He is a very good player. Obviously, Adam Wharton is a backup option for Manchester United, of course. It doesn't look like Man United are going to do any business for Adam Wharton. Of course, Crystal Palace won another trophy yesterday, beating Liverpool, of course, in the Charity Shield, of course, or the Community Shield these days, isn't it? On penalties after a 2-2 draw. Of course, Mateta, again, on the score sheet, another player very highly underrated, of course, guys. Crystal Palace do it. Adam Wharton is a fantastic, great player. Injury record a little bit, but you know what? He is the backup option for Baleba. I would be happy with either one of those players. He's an absolute fantastic monster. He's a monster in that midfield. I've been telling everyone, guys, if you're looking at Alex Ferguson, right? You're looking at Sir Alex Ferguson. If Sir Alex Ferguson was going to go after any player in the Premier League right now, he'll go after Adam Wharton. Let me tell you that right now. He would go after Adam Wharton. It's not that, you know what, it's the British thing. And no, it's the fact that Adam Wharton controls games. He's got that ability to tackle, to pass. He reminds me of a young Michael Carrick, so to speak. But Carlos Baleba, look, I would love to have Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba in that football team. That is what we need. Absolutely. Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. Imagine those two in the midfield. It'd be absolutely incredible and peak for anyone else. But it's not going to happen, of course. Both valued at around the same amount of money. Carlos Baleba is a little bit more, probably. But they both are valued at around the same amount of money. And Man United can't afford to spend 150-odd million on 2 of those players. Of course, even though it would have been a godsend and probably would have happened under Qatar, of course, we're not going to be spending that much money, of course, guys. We've already spent quite a bit of money. But what I would say is that the Baleba, of course, would be a fantastic signing for Man United. Probably the most up-and-coming, best young midfielder in Europe, in my opinion, guys. I'm not over-exaggerating, but I think he is. I do. And I think if we rest on our laurels, if we wait for him next season, we might miss out on him. We might miss out on him because obviously if he has another good season, it's not just the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City are going to be looking at him. It's also the Real Madrids, the PSGs are going to be looking at him as well. The Barcelonas are going to be looking at him as well. And obviously when these Spanish clubs come calling, it's difficult, especially Real Madrid, especially Barcelona and teams of that ilk. When they come calling, we know that generally these players' heads are turned, isn't it? Big up, Mia. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Sanjay, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Asif. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, my legend. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you again in the house. Big up, Sal, you legend. Big up, Darren. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you again, of course. Mickey, what's going on? Bruno will leave this summer. He sees and hears writing on the wall. He will become a legend if we get 100 million. Baleba and Wharton, you dream. Yeah, that is the dream, but Bruno won't be leaving this summer. My friend, absolutely not. Bruno's staying at Manchester United for the coming season, my friend. Yeah, he's not leaving this football club, I tell you right now. If Bruno leaves this football club, I will shave off my eyebrows if he leaves this summer, which is not going to happen, guys. Absolutely. I know I shouldn't put myself on the spot there, but that's not going to happen. Bruno will not leave the football club this summer. Bruno will be a Manchester United player this season. Next season, who knows? Circulation of interest might come again, but we're never going to get another 100 million offer. Absolutely not. That is not going to happen. There's never going to be 100 million on the table again for Bruno Fernandes. We missed that boat. That boat is gone. That boat is well and truly sailed. It's gone. And we're never going to get that amount of money for him. He will be at Man United next season, and he might even be at Man United next season as well. As I said yesterday, I'm not going to flip-flop from this. I actually think that Bruno Fernandes will retire at Manchester United. I think he will retire at Man United. I really do feel that. I think Bruno Fernandes will retire at Manchester United. I think the only thing I can envision is Bruno Fernandes. If Bruno Fernandes leaves, he'll leave about 34 years old, 35 years old, and go back to Sporting Lisbon or do something like that. I can't really see how he leaves Man United in his years right now, 30, 31. I can't see it at the moment. A lot of people, that might upset a lot of people. I know, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. We have to take it, and we have to support the lad, and we have to understand that he loves Man United, and he plays for the badge, and we have to take the positives. I don't think that he is a midfielder. I would argue that I would love Bruno to stay and play as the number 10, but we don't have that amount of spots in the team, unfortunately. And he's going to be shoehorned into the number 8 position, which I don't think is right. It should be about the team, not about, personal individuals and stuff like that. And there's some people, and I would even argue, there are some people in life who can read the game, who understand the game, who look at the game from above and don't look at players because they love the player, like the player. I like Bruno. I really do. I like it more than anyone. I told you guys, I worked with Bruno's brother. I know Bruno's brother. I'm not going to absolutely slander Bruno. I worked with him for 2 years. All right. So what I would say is that I have no agenda against anyone. I have nothing like that. I actually want him to succeed. But I look at things in regards to Manchester United. What's best for Manchester United going forward? What can we do for Manchester United that improves Manchester United? And I think moving Bruno away from that number 8 position is what Man United do. Now, if the miracle happens and Amorim decided to change his formation and play a 4-2-3-1, we could quite possibly play Bruno up in that 3. That could be a thing. That might be great. But then you look at the team and then you look at the lack of width, don't you? You're going to look at the lack of width, and you're always going to be sacrificing something from the team, of course, because obviously we can't play 2 fullbacks all the way up into the midfield because we're left with 2 defenders, which isn't obviously feasible. So it is a difficult one. We have to make some tough decisions. But my biggest concern is players should not be playing just because of who they are. They should be playing based on the football team, Manchester United, Pios, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Baleba and Donnarumma, big up. Yes, Donnarumma. In regards to Donnarumma, of course, I've been saying this a number of times over the last couple of weeks. Donnarumma will sign for Manchester United if Manchester United manage to offload Onana. If Onana stays, Donnarumma will not be coming to Manchester United because Man United will not be having 2 number 1s. They won't be having 2 number 1s. They will get rid of one of those players. And as I said, the big decision is that if Manchester United sign a goalkeeper, they have to decide what they're going to do with Onana. And if Onana leaves, then we can get a Donnarumma and everything is sweet. Donnarumma will be between the sticks for the next 8 years. If Onana stays, Man United could quite possibly go in for a Seny Lamens. It could be a Seny Lamens coming into the football club, and he could be groomed to be the next number 1 at Manchester United. Slowly but surely, drifted out. We drift Onana out of the team. That is how Man United could do it. But Man United will not have 2 number 1s. Absolutely not, guys. Big up Mickey, big up Piers, of course. Natty, Sal, the difficult is to negotiate with Brighton. It's going to be very difficult to negotiate with Brighton. As I said, guys, as I said there pretty clearly, is that Premier League clubs are different. Every single Premier League club has money. Every Premier League club doesn't need to sell. And that is the thing we have these days, isn't it? Premier League clubs can stick their heels in the ground and say, listen, we're not selling him. The only way you're going to buy him if you're going to offer an astronomical amount of money. And of course, this is what happened with Brentford. Of course, this isn't just Brentford, guys. This is every Premier League club. We're not talking about RB Leipzig here. This is RB Leipzig are different. RB Leipzig are not a Premier League club. They don't have the money that Premier League clubs have, you know? So basically, RB Leipzig were much more inclined to do business with Manchester United. And the great thing about RB Leipzig and the Sesko deal is that RB Leipzig stuck to their word. They knew that Man United were going to sign Sesko as long as Man United came out with the right offer, of course. And obviously, Sesko announced that he wanted to go to Man United. Man United wanted clarification from Sesko. Sesko wanted clarification from Man United that Man United have the money. Man United made the bid and had the money, fixed the bid, 5 million, a little bit 5 million more, and got the deal done. Simple as that. Literally like a week or 2 weeks, the deal was done. Now, these days, when you're talking to Premier League clubs, they're like, we're rich. We don't need your money. And it's as simple as that. It's a bit like RB Leipzig coming to Man United asking for one of our prize assets. You know, they're going to say, look, you know what? We don't need to sell. No, we don't. Why should we sell to you? You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that is the biggest thing about the Premier League. And this concerns me, obviously, when we're dealing with Premier League players. You know, these teams are reluctant. And also, guys, these teams, they don't want to improve Man United. It's not just about the money. It's not just about giving them Baleba. It's about the fact that they're going to improve Man United. And unfortunately, in our position right now, a team like Brighton sees Man United as rivals. As sad as it is, as crazy it is. I was raised in a generation where Brighton were in Division 3, which is League 2 now, you know. And now we see Brighton as a rival, you know, at the end of the day for European football. Absolutely. Emmanuel, what's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. I believe when I see Amram doing... bigger Amram, bigger Emmanuel, good to see you, mate. Hope you're well, of course. Coco, good morning. Hope you're all good, Zoe. Hope you're good as well, brother. This is beyond exciting. Has really handed in a transfer request. Yes, he has handed in the transfer request, Coco. He has also verbally stated that he wants to go to Manchester United, which basically puts all the eggs in our court. Or eggs in our court, all the eggs in our basket, of course, guys. But what I would say is that this doesn't mean that the deal is done. We know what happens with these deals. We know we had an agreement from Mbeumo back in June the 1st. And from then, it took us 50 days to get that deal done. 50 days. So hopefully we got this transfer request. We got the player, we got the player saying he wants to go to Manchester United, which is important, guys, because let me tell you something right now. Manchester City were hovering around. Manchester City are hovering around Baleba. Now, Manchester City are not out the picture. They're not out the picture. Manchester City were interested in Baleba as well. But this is precisely why Manchester United have to act quickly and swiftly to prevent the baldy Pep Guardiola getting Baleba. Because I know he's a generational. You know, he's a generational. But then again, Man City has spent 400 million over the last 6 months, haven't they? Few months, not even 6 months. So what I would say is that Manchester United are favourites to sign Baleba, but it all depends on Man United and Brighton at the moment. We have to make an offer. Obviously, that offer is going to be countered. Brighton are going to want another offer. We're going to put in another offer. And of course, it is going to be a slow process. And this is what Premier League clubs do, sadly, of course, guys. Big up Marky Mark again. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Really good. Really appreciate your generosity, my friend. Let's make our rivals cry and spend. Big up, Darren. I hope so. 100% turning point. Absolutely. So it is 100% a turning point. Bringing Baleba into this football club will be 100% turning point for Man United season. We're going to go from skeptic, to about, we got Baleba in midfield. We got this, we got that. The good thing about Baleba, which fills me with a lot of confidence, is that Baleba can pick that ball up from deep and he can push that ball forward. Another thing about Baleba, he's an absolute beast. He's strong. He's physically strong, right? Man United have been, let's face it, guys, incredibly weak, especially in the midfield area over the last few years. We've been lightweight. Let's be real, guys. We've been lightweight in the midfield. Baleba will be an absolute game changer in that midfield. An absolute beast in that midfield. The strength of Baleba. It reminds me of a new Roy Keane coming into that football club, you know? And that is what Man United need. Roy Keane was a beast, and that's what we've been missing, a beast. You know, in that midfield, who can take the game by the scruff of the neck. When things are not going well, they bring you forward. You know what I mean? Get that ball forward. You know, nowadays, it's like when things are not going well, we're all over the place. We haven't got anyone to dictate play, anyone to add a bit of spice into that midfield, make that crunching tackle. When was the last time you saw a crunching tackle, guys? We're in a position right now, right, where I'm watching the game against Fiorentina and I see a whipped cross from Mbeumo coming into the box. I'm getting excited over a whipped cross. A whipped cross, like when you whip it into the box, right? I'm getting excited by that. And I'm like, bloody hell, how standards have fallen. How standards have fallen. I'm getting excited by a whipped cross. I used to see that 10 times a day at Manchester United back in the day. Now, look, you know what? I just hope Manchester United fans deserve the best. Man United should have the best. We should be signing Baleba, Cunha, Mbeumo, Sesko. We should have these players at the football club. We're Manchester United, for crying out loud, the biggest club in one of the biggest clubs in the world. Top 3 in the world. We should have the best players in the world. Of course we should. You know, so at the end of the day, we're doing things we should be doing. And I hope that Baleba signs for Man United. Look, all the signs are there. The transfer request, wanting to come to Manchester United. Man United interested in Baleba, have been interested in for weeks. Let's see what happens, guys. It really, really is interesting. Papa, Newcastle fan. Liverpool tracking Baleba in a swap deal with Elliott and 50 million on top there to Anfield. You get but looked after better than NUSC. No, I haven't heard anything about Liverpool, but Liverpool are not at the picture. In regards to that, swap deals are notoriously difficult to do. Brighton want the money. This is how I feel at the moment. Liverpool have already got their midfield sorted, of course, and I don't think they'll be looking at Baleba right now. Although it's not in the realms of impossibility. This is exactly why it adds more strings to the bow in regards to acting quickly, acting swiftly, getting the deal done quickly. This is why you snooze, you lose in football. And as I said many, many times, I don't know Baleba. I don't know him personally. But what I would say is this, right? We don't know about loyalty. If he supports Man United, he supports Man United. He will want to sign for Man United. That is a fact. But if we wait around, loyalty doesn't really count for anything in football. But the noises around Man United are very, very strong. Of course, Baleba had interest from Liverpool last year. Let's not forget, last year, Liverpool were interested in Baleba. We know that. I know that from before. But guys, Man United are favourites. Let's make our rivals cry, and Spencer is a big up, absolutely. Big up, Natty. Sal, I'm fearing Man City will come to the equation of Baleba. I think not only Man City, Natty, I'm feeling like Liverpool as well. As my guy said right there, Liverpool could quite possibly come in with an offer as well. It's not just Manchester City, it's other teams as well. This is why we cannot take anything for granted. We cannot say, well, he's ours and that's it and blah, blah, blah. Unless Manchester United have worked on deals and already got verbal agreements. You know? Now, I'm hearing this week that Man United have a gentleman's agreement with obviously Baleba, which obviously plays a huge role. Unless you're an absolute prat and you don't abide by your gentleman's agreement, you know, this could be like your carers, by the way. This could be, this obviously puts it in Man United's favour that we got the gentleman's agreement. This makes me think, when I scroll back to after the Hong Kong game, you remember the Hong Kong game, and I scroll back to that game. And after that game, Barada said that we've been working on various deals for months. We're confident, we're relaxed. Maybe this is why they're relaxed. Maybe this is why. Maybe they already had Baleba wrapped up. They already had Sesko wrapped up. They already had an agreement from Mbeumo. Maybe this already was the case. Maybe we already were advanced in our negotiations with certain players. You know, that could quite possibly be a thing. This is why Man United are so relaxed, so calm in regards to the situation, because they might have verbal agreements. You know, you could communicate with anyone, anyhow. You know, not Eddie Howe, anyhow. Absolutely. You could communicate with anyone. You know what I mean? And in any way, a little WhatsApp message or anything, a little Skype call here and there. No one needs to know about it. Do you want to come to Man United, mate? You go, yeah, I would like to come to Man United. Okay, we'll get it sorted out. As long as you want to come to Man United, yeah, we'll get the deal sorted. Yeah, I want to come to Man United. When can we make it happen? We're going to try and work out with Brighton. And that's what could happen, isn't it? And that doesn't have to be done in public. That could be done behind the scenes as well and stuff like that. You know, it's not like the old days, you know what I mean? Anyway, there's to be a proper phone call and stuff like that. Ring dial and everything like that. Big up Natty, by the way. Big up Natty. Coco. Will Amram still force Bruno? Bruno still force Bruno. Amram, this is the biggest issue. Of course, there's a lot of people over there around the football and hemisphere that are a little bit concerned about Bruno. Look, guys, look, I am. I have to be honest. In regards to Bruno, I just don't think he's a number 8. I don't. He leaves the midfield, right, When Bruno gets ill-disciplined, he leaves the midfielder exposed. One midfielder. We end up having one midfielder in there. And that's when teams, if you look at what Bruno does, Bruno was sort of drifting this way, he'll drift in that way. And he'll leave a gaping hole, which 1-2 touch from the opposition team can get you in Man United's half and free. That is what happens, guys. A player like Ugarte, if you've got two players on Ugarte, for example, let me give you an example. If Bruno goes into the left-back position and running around the pitch, being ill-disciplined, right, and you've only got Ugarte in the midfield, all the team need to do is do a triangle around Ugarte. Do a triangle around Ugarte, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, he's gone. Ugarte's out the game. This is why I'm looking at Ugarte and players of that, and I'm saying, and looking at Mainu as well, and thinking, it's not so much their fault, to be fair. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they're left exposed with 2 or 3 men on them. So what do you expect them to do? And this is the thing that happens with Bruno. Now, in regards to the number 10, however, the number 10 position on Bruno is perfect. Bruno is a good assister of the ball. He's a good guy. He takes shots and stuff like that. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We got what we got. Amram's going to choose Bruno. And I said that it's no even point even stressing about it because he's going to play regardless. The one thing is, I just hope that come the Arsenal game and the Brighton and the Burnley game and the Fulham game, that we're ready. And we play well. I pray. I mean, at the end of the day, when I think about Man United right now, I have a lot of confidence in regards to Mbeumo, in regards to Cunha, in regards to Sesko. There's a lot of confidence there. I'm absolutely giddy when I think about that. But then you start thinking in your head and you start thinking behind those. You start going behind them and you start thinking, Bruno, and you start going like that and you start going, that is where we're going to have problems. Now, the biggest issue that I saw, guys, against Fiorentina, Mbeumo and Cunha want the ball to feet in front of them, yeah? Right? So they can run at the defense. We got Bruno in the defensive area kicking long balls, kicking cross-field balls out of touch. We've got that going on. Mbeumo and Cunha want the ball to feet. Give the ball to feet, and it will work. And I hope it does. United not getting Baleba, false news, fella. Not false news, mate. Sadly for you, Papa, you were one of those guys who came on and said Mbeumo's false news, Sesko's false news. I've heard it all, mate. I've heard it all, Papa Smurf. Unfortunately for you, Papa Smurf, you know what? What I would say is that some of us have contacts, some of us don't have contacts, Papa Smurf. And at the end of the day, you're just as small in the market. You're just as small in this industry as a Smurf because you know what? You don't have any clout in regards to what you say. Now, what I would say is this. Anything can happen in football. Football is not guaranteed. Football doesn't deal with absolutes, right? But one thing about this channel, we've broken a lot of news before anyone else, including Dorgu and Mbeumo and stuff like that, right? One thing we do, we speak the gospel, we speak the truth, okay? There is smoke with fire. There is no smoke without fire. When rumors happen, generally there's an inkling of a truth. How big that truth is depends to be seen. In this instance, it is true. Baleba wants Man United. Baleba's given a transfer request. Baleba wants to go to Man United. Man United have been working on a Baleba deal for a long, long time, my friend. And as much as you want this to be false, it's not. Sorry, mate. I know that your team cannot attract players. I know the only thing you can get is a dud defender, and I know that's the only guy you can get. But at the end of the day, don't hate on us. Hate the game. That's all I say, guys. Because at the end of the day, Baleba wants to come, mate. There's no realm. There's no impossibility in that. You're saying things from a point of you want that to happen. You want Baleba to not sign for Man United. It's not that you think, it's that you want. There's a difference in between that, mate. So I know it hurts. It does hurt. And I don't blame you. It hurts that we're taking so many players off you. It hurts. And I've had a lot of Newcastle fans in this channel over the last couple of weeks. I've had all the eye emojis. I've had all the slanderous. Oh, you're not that club anymore. You're not going to get Sesko. Sesko's going to Man United. Hold that. I've had that. Don't worry about that. I've had that as well. I've had all that. And lo and behold, here we are. I don't want to sound smug, but that is just the nature of birds of the bees, mate. Birds and the bees. Man United are bigger than Newcastle. Live it. That is what you can do. Just live it. Just like basically you breathe air in the morning and taxes. Man United will be bigger than Arsenal, than Newcastle United, in my opinion. Not my opinion. It's actually fact. But what I would say is that, anything is possible in football. Having said that, anything is possible in football. Anything can happen in football. But we are speaking the truth, absolutely, on this channel, as we have many, many times. Coco, Will Amram face Bruno in a team with Baleba? Yeah, probably, mate. Probably. I'm a Baleba. Me too. We're all Balebas. We're all Balebas. Absolutely. We're all Balebas here. Brighton equals selling club FC. Yeah, for Darren, they are a selling club. Of course they are. But they're also a club that over-extortionates their prices and saturates their price to astronomical levels when it comes to Manchester United. You know, unfortunately, if it was Liverpool, they would be all over it. Mark, can someone remove Smurf? Yeah, I'm going to remove him. Yeah, I'll remove him for you, mate. He's gone, mate. There you go, mate. There you go, Mark. All for you, Mark. There you go. He's gone. Morning, Sal. I heard some sources saying we have a close friendly games to sharpen Onana and Sesko. Does it mean their goalkeeper story is a spin? I don't think it's a spin, Afro. The reason that Man United are working on Onana because Onana's not played any preseason games. Now, look, Man United are interested in a goalkeeper, but there is a big possibility that Man United won't sign Donnarumma or won't sign Senny Lamens. So if that possibility happens and it occurs, we have to have a fit and ready goalkeeper. Because if we say, oh, don't worry about Onana, we're going to sign Donnarumma and we're going to sign Senny Lamens anyway, then if that doesn't happen, Onana's going to go into the Arsenal game with no fitness. No fitness. And that is a big problem, unless we play Heaton or unless we buy in there. We're not going to sign a goalkeeper this week, my man. We're not going to sign a goalkeeper this week. So we got Arsenal on Sunday. So Onana has to be fit for the Arsenal game. And that is what Man United are looking at the moment. Epeleng, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Fiona finished 6th last season. Basically mid-table, isn't it? In Serie A, smaller league. Isaac, this week will be very busy for Man United transfer window. It's going to be an absolute madness this window. This next couple of weeks, we got until the 1st of September. Of course, the window is closing. The window is looming. And guys, now, let me bring in the Rasmus situation. Rasmus Højlund has been told by Manchester United that he will be a bit part player next season. He will not be guaranteed a first-team spot in the Manchester United team. So he has been advised to take up the AC Milan offer seriously and to go on loan to AC Milan. Unfortunately, at the moment, AC Milan have not quite offered what Man United want in regards to the loan fee. AC Milan have offered a 4 million loan fee plus a 39 million obligation to buy. Man United want a 6 million loan fee with a 40 million obligation to buy. So we're nearly there, but that Man United want basically that. So Man United have advised Rasmus to look for other options in regards to his playing time this season, because obviously Denmark are playing in the World Cup probably next summer, of course, guys. So obviously, if he doesn't play football, he's not going to get picked for the Denmark national team. So Man United had advised Rasmus Højlund, giving him an ultimatum that you can either stay at Man United, you're going to be on the bench, or you go to another club, i.e. AC Milan in this instance, on loan till the end of the season with an obligation to buy. Obviously, Rasmus did say he wants to stay, he wants to fight for his position and stuff like that. But realistically, when we're looking at things realistically, is it good for Rasmus Højlund? Is that going to be good going forward for Rasmus Højlund? And it's not going to be good for Rasmus Højlund's future, is it? So obviously, he's going to be looking for another club, especially the fact that Sesko is at the club now. Before, Sesko wasn't at the club. You know, now Sesko is at the football club. Of course, guys. And then obviously we have to decide what we're going to do with the backup striker. Is it going to be Chido Obi-Martin? Is Xerxes going to move into that position sometimes? Is Xerxes a prolific goal scorer? And then we're going to have to think about that, of course. Asif, deep down, I feel that Baleba, here we go, is coming. Transfer request is Rasmus for a move has been told clearly by United. Yeah. In touch with Baleba, camp every day. Sancho gone out to money. It's on. It is on, Asif, and I would say that. I've been saying that. Obviously, it's firstly on Stretford Post. I broke it on Stretford Post. You know, at the end of the day, someone told me yesterday, Sal, what's your professional involvement in Manchester United? You don't have to have a professional involvement in Manchester United. I was in the music industry 20 years, guys. I met loads of journalists. I met loads of players. I met loads of people connected to Man United. I actually know 2 people who currently work at Manchester United right now. All right. So I hear news from Man United. I hear things from ex-players. I hear things from different things, different sources. So you don't have to have a professional involvement in that. And people say, oh, the Laurie Whitwell, Laurie Whitwell, and this is me. They're not streetwise like me. I've got my ear to the ground. I will have news before them. I knew about Senny Lamens before Fabrizio Romano knew about Senny Lamens. You know, just like I'm talking about Francisco Kamada and players like that before they've even spoke about Francesco Kamada, you know, and things like that. So listen, at the end of the day, this news about Baleba is very true. Of course, and Man United have been in negotiations with Baleba's camp for a number of weeks. Of course, in regards to Garnacho, guys, Garnacho is waiting on Chelsea. Man United just slapped a €50 million deal, £50 million price tag on Garnacho, 58 million euros on Garnacho. And we're waiting for Chelsea to make that offer. Garnacho wants to go to Chelsea. Garnacho was seen yesterday getting a tattoo, smoking a vape. Are footballers allowed to smoke vapes? I don't know, but anyway, that's up to you guys. Let me tell me answers in the comments, guys. Are footballers allowed to smoke vapes? But let me just say, in regards to Rasmus Højlund has not surplus to requirements, but has been told that he won't get the first team opportunities that he would hope for in regards to, because Sesko is at the football club right now, so he needs to look for another football club. And AC Milan could be that guy. I actually think that AC Milan would be an absolutely brilliant move for Rasmus Højlund. I think it would. I think he can go to AC Milan, get lots of goals, just like John Dahl Thomason. Do you remember John Dahl Thomason, who used to play for Newcastle? Guys, do you remember that? Probably Newcastle fans in this stream won't remember, because they probably started supporting Newcastle when they had money. So what I would say is that back in the 90s, late 90s, John Dahl Thomason played for Newcastle United, of course, and he was a flop. He was a flop. And John Dahl Thomason ended up going to a Danish international, ended up going to the likes of AC Milan. He went to AC Milan and he absolutely smashed it at AC Milan. And scored lots of goals and rebuilt his career, Danish international and et cetera, et cetera. Maybe this is what can happen with Rasmus Højlund. Hasn't quite worked out for him at Man United. Could go on loan to AC Milan, could absolutely tear it up. Man United say, actually, you know what? We're going to take Rasmus back. And that could be a possibility. Sometimes you have to go that way to go that way. You know, sometimes you have to pass the ball back to create space to pass the ball forward. Absolutely. Big up, Asif, by the way. Eluja, same old news, same old life for you, mate, in your little village, mate. Best of luck to you. No way do you sign in Bruno, Cunha, Sesko, and having players don't see you mean business. Ineos has damn well made a point convincing new guys about the project. Not Ineos, Mark, not Ineos. It's nothing to do with Ineos. It's to do with Vivell, who's not Ineos. Vivell doesn't work for Ineos. But Barada doesn't work for Ineos. They work for Manchester United. They work for Manchester United. Barada and Vivell are the guys. Ineos can't attract them. Basically, all that's happened is what Qatar would have done with basically Manchester United. They would have brought in a Vivell. They would have brought in a Barada as well. You know, that is what would have happened. They're completely different from Ineos. They don't work for Ineos. It's a bit like saying that, you know, Amarim works for Ineos. Amarim works for Manchester United. Ineos are not the majority owners of the football club. Ineos are spending Man United's money, which we should do. That is what Man United are. This is Man United money at the end of the day. Sal, did you see Wharton's pinpoint assist to Sal? What a performance. I told you guys about Kenny. I told you guys about Wharton. People are sleeping on Wharton. Wharton is a fabulous player. That's twice now. Look at the FA Cup final. Look at this game against Liverpool. Twice now that he's performed like that. And not only that, Mateta. My predictions for next season. Crystal Palace will be the surprise package of next season. They will be the surprise package next season. I think it's absolutely atrocious that they were relegated to the Conference League, of course. You know, double standards in Europe, of course. And they're going to be playing in the Conference League. I actually think they're going to win the Conference League. I really do. Darren, Papa supports new Arsenal United. Big up, new Arsenal United. Big up, Darren. Absolutely does. Absolutely. Goodness me. Papa Diddy Pop. Well done, Eagles. Absolutely. Brilliant news, of course, within the guys. I love my human. I am so eager for the Donnarumma deal to happen above all else. Of course, a lot of people are, my friend. Really good to see you. Look, you know what I would say is that this is not the end of Donnarumma. Donnarumma is a huge possibility that he will sign for Man United, but obviously this all depends on what happens with Onana. Unless Onana is forced at the football club, Man United can't do anything at the moment, because if they try and force Onana at the football club now, it's going to be obviously harmful for Man United, given that he's going to be playing against Arsenal probably as the number one on Sunday. So Man United can't really destroy his confidence for that game. You know, he's bad enough as it is, let alone Onana with no confidence. So what I would say is that, yeah, look, you know, we're going to have to wait and see. As I said many weeks ago, guys, the goalkeeper position will drag on all the way to the end of the window. We will not sign a goalkeeper until the end of the window. And that is what's going to happen if we sign a goalkeeper. If Man United don't sign Baleba and don't sign a midfielder, it does look like we will accelerate a move for Donnarumma, a goalkeeper. Absolutely. Kenny, Baleba only wants United. All calm. Absolutely. Absolutely, Kenny. Not one of my signings this summer, but didn't come out and say I only want United. Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony, and others should be ashamed of themselves. Absolutely. I agree. Asif, Sal, have a feeling of conspiracy theory. Mainly signing a new contract soon. Now, Baleba rumours. Does that mean Bruno heading to Saudi next summer for 80 million? We will see Mainu and Baleba next season. We won't see Mainu and Baleba next season in midfield. No, it will be Bruno this season. I mean, it'll be Bruno and Baleba this season. Definitely in the number 8 position, whether we like it or not. There's no point even debating that. That is what's going to happen. Next season, however, we never know, Asif. We never know. We're definitely not going to get 100 million. Might get 70, 80 million. That might be a thing. But I personally think, Asif, and I've heard from people close to him, including his brother, who I know, that Bruno Fernandes will spend the rest of his career at Man United. You know, and that's what I'm hearing. You know, he wants to spend the rest of his career at Man United. But that can change. Football can change. Everyone's opinions change. People change. And that's what it is. You know, as people know, I know Bruno's brother. I've got the insight in regards to it. Good morning, Randy. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Onana, tell him to situation. He must F off and buy in there, sign gig. Absolutely, mate. GG. Big up, my friend, Mark. Morning, Johnny. How you doing, my friend? Morning, Sal. United need a defender and Maguire replacement. Now, guys, look, I don't know about you, but I just feel like Maguire is a very good professional, a great role model, inspirational, but I just don't think he's a very good footballer. I just think that. I just don't think he is what Man United need in defence. I think he's an absolute brilliant squad player. Don't get me wrong, guys, right? I came on this on my channel many years ago, guys, and it's on this channel. And I said that Maguire could be the best defender in the world when we just signed him. I'm looking at Maguire now, and he's a bit like a huge, ginormous Bambi on ice. And I don't think he plays the way that Ruben Amorim wants to play, in my opinion. You know, and I think that Aiden Heaven is, Yoro is, Licha is, maybe De Ligt to an extent, but I just don't think Maguire is that guy. He creates havoc in that defense, guys. Looking at Yoro, looking at Heaven, it's like chalk and cheese. You know, they just don't work together with Maguire. You know, and that is what it is, and that's what I would say about it. And that's why sometimes we've got calamity. We're too slow in the build-up. We look unorganized sometimes in the box and the cross and the cutbacks and stuff. Over the years, we've conceded a number of goals. I like to see the percentage of goals that we've conceded from cutbacks. You know what I mean? Well. Big up, Johnny. Onana must wake the F up and forget that he should be starting. He shouldn't be at United based on his performance. I agree with that, Mark. Absolutely, mate. I agree. John Victor has gone to West Ham, Randy. By the way, he's a West Ham player now. We missed the boat on that. John, Randy. He's gone to West Ham. Sal, I felt Liverpool were vulnerable yesterday. I agree. Even after 4-minute goal from Ekatike, Eagle were on the point of the entire game. What you make of it? Hope Arne Slot brings that. I hope Arne Slot's season was a one-season wonder. That's what I hope. As if what I saw yesterday, Crystal Palace should have had a penalty. By the way, it was a penalty. If that was the other way round, they would have given a penalty to Liverpool. Crystal Palace should have had a penalty. Absolutely. And I would say that Liverpool were lucky to get out of that 120 minutes with a draw. I don't think Liverpool will win the league next season. I'm saying that right now. I don't. And I actually think that, you know, there's going to be a surprise next season. Hopefully, it's the team in red, the only team in red, not Arsenal, not Liverpool. It's Manchester United, guys. And they are. Title charge. Look, you know what I would say is that I'm always giddy before the season, guys. This is me. Before every season, give me 5 games in the season, it'll probably lower. But you know what I would say is this, right? I think what I would say is that it's not going to be easy for Liverpool. Liverpool have a great football team. They have a very good squad. They've had a great transfer window. I think if Liverpool bring in a striker, i.e. an Isaac or someone like that, I think they'll have more of an opportunity. Now, the biggest concern for me, Asif, is that when Liverpool have these results, they're going to be looking at players like Baleba as well. So what that's going to do, hopefully that just kicks Man United into gear and we get Baleba through the door. You know, Liverpool are an attractive proposition for players now. They're champions, they're in Champions League and stuff like that. So we have to be obviously fair and we have to be like realistic here. You know, so when Liverpool lose. They spent a lot of money this season. They haven't spent money on Isaac yet. You know, so obviously they still got that money, theoretically, haven't they? So they could obviously go after another player. I don't think it'd be as easy for Liverpool next season. I absolutely don't. I don't think it'd be like last season. I think the biggest surprise next season, one will be Man United in a positive way, and the other one will be Arsenal. I think Arsenal will come 4th or 5th, right? But I'm going to do a prediction show at the end of the, just before. I think I'm going to do a prediction show. Let's hope probably Friday. Friday, I'll do a prediction show. But obviously, it's really, with Man United, this is why I'm not doing it, though, because Man United depends on who we're going to sign. You know, are we going to get Baleba, goalkeeper, and stuff like that? Of course, absolutely. Mark, Smurf from Reject FC, absolutely. You're small in this game, like a Smurf. Absolutely, big up. Asif, how about Wharton from Crystal Palace? Sal, he was a massive. I mean, I've been talking about him all summer, Asif, all summer. Don't need to ask me, mate. I know. Mark, guys, I can tell you Arsenal are shaking in their pants with the thoughts of kicking off against the new United, Sesko and Boom up front. I hope so, mate. Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. They haven't had the best preseason. Of course, they beat Athletic Bilbao, but Athletic Bilbao are not the team that they were. Liverpool, absolutely, Coco. Let's give it into them. VAR, Paul, absolutely. You're going to see that next season, unfortunately. Christian, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. You like to see Baleba, Ugarte, and Bruno as a number 10? No. What I would like to see, I said, if it was possible, Man United could do a 4-2-3-1. So basically, you play like a Ugarte and Mainu in the midfield, or you play Ugarte and Casemiro, something like that, or a Baleba and, of course, an Ugarte in midfield, or Baleba and Mainu in midfield. Then you play Bruno and Bumo, Cunha as the three as number 10s, and then you play Sesko up front. It's worked in the past. Wharton and Baleba replacement each other is a dream, would be amazing. Won't happen though, unfortunately, my friend. Absolutely. But guys, thank you everyone for joining me today, of course. Big up everyone in the stream. And let me just read out, Tyborg, you legend. What's going on, man? Friend, good morning, Tyborg. Hope you're doing well. Sorry to get to your comments so late. I've just seen it. Of course, the rumor is that Onana is angry about the new United searching for new goalkeeper. He must be living in a bubble, not seeing his mistakes that damage. Look, what I would say to you, Tybo, is you're absolutely spot on, is that every time Onana used to make a mistake last season, or Onana would concede a goal, he would go down on it and he'd start putting up his socks. He would start putting up his socks. He won't take accountability. He won't say, sorry, guys, sorry, my teammates, sorry. He actually thinks he's invincible. He actually thinks he's way better than he is, which is weird, of course, because you would obviously be told, Onana, mate, you need to shape up, unless he's had smoke blown up his backside over the number of years from people who know him and like him and stuff like that. I don't know. But this week, let me tell you something, guys, Tyborg, everyone. Let's get behind the lads. We got Arsenal on Sunday. We've got to get behind the team. We've got to get behind the players. We need to beat Arsenal this Sunday, guys. That is what's most important going forward, guys. Absolutely most important. Imperative, Man United defeat Arsenal at the weekend. We cannot go into this season losing that game, and then we're going from the depths of the sea upwards. You know what I mean? We need to start above the sea, guys, above sea level. But, guys, thank you, everyone, of course. Let me just check my tweets to see if anything. Big up, everyone. Big up, Grayo. Thank you so much, you legend. Good to see you in the house, of course. Tybo. So, don't you find it a bit strange that we're talking directly to Baleba behind Brighton's back? I know it's not against the rules, but I do think it's a little bit. I mean, I did used to hear about something about tapping up, Tybo. There was something like tapping up. I used to think that as well. I think the same as you, Tybo. I think, is that a little bit bad? But I think Man United are just really, really ruthless in the way they're doing things and slyly manipulating the transfer market, which we haven't done in the past. And I think that agreeing a deal with getting an agreement from the player before you go to Brighton, because we know that Brighton are going to dig their heels in. We know that Brighton are going to say, 100 million, 90 million, and blah, blah, blah. And this is obviously softens the negotiation on Brighton's side, because, once the player sacrifices himself to go into saying that he wants to go to a certain football club, look, generally the player gets his wish. He gets his wish. And it adds power to you, doesn't it? In the transfer negotiations, it adds power. I would say that. But brilliant to have you back, Tybo. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my guy. Of course, Albie, the member for 2 months, my friend. Let's hope we get another couple of more signings. So, Albie, thank you so much for being a member. Great content coming very soon. As you can tell, guys, we are fixing, the channel is growing, the graphics, everything is going to be fixing up. Lots of good big things happening on this channel for the members, for everyone on this channel, guys. That we got some great content coming for the members. Wait and see. It's going to be amazing. But guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you today, guys, on board. And guys, please don't forget to smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Tybug, Zella Pogba, what? Don't tell me you would like to dancing clown. Pat Pogba is past. Pogba's past. Pogba's not the guy for us. Absolutely not. Loved Pogba when he signed. Well, probably the most exciting time I've ever been as a Man United fan in the last 10 years is when we signed Pogba, Ibrahimovic and all that under Jose Mourinho. It didn't work out. Twice we got him, twice it failed. Unfortunately, we have to move on from that. But wish him the best of luck, of course. Have nothing against him. Of course, it just didn't work out, of course, guys. Absolutely not. But guys, thank you everyone for joining me today. Sorry I can't read out all the message, of course, guys. But thank you all the members. Thank you. And big up Timo. Thank you. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Big up all the members in the stream, guys. And thank you everyone for the super chats and all that sweet stuff, guys. You're absolute legends. Guys, I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. I will be back later on for Chatterbox, of course. Also, put your notifications on, guys, in case I go live. If anything breaks, you never know in this game. These days, especially, I might be live whenever anything breaks, no matter what the time is, guys. So don't forget to smash a like on your way out. We got 200, 300 people online. We should have 300 likes in theory, right? Life doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But, guys, thank you for joining me today. I will be back later on for Chatterbox anyway. Join me for that. See you soon. Have a great day, night, evening, wherever you're in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Take it easy. Peace.